Welcome to my channel. If you like my videos, then kindly subscribe, like and watch. Thank you. So Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Let's start with our today's topic, that is about milling operation. So milling is a type of machining operation in which the extra material is removed with the help of rotating tool, and this rotating tool is fed past a this rotating tool fed passing a workpiece, and with the help of multiple cutting edges of the cutting tool, it removes the extra material in order to get the desired shape. So basically you have a cutting tool. For example, this is the tool and they have multiple cutting edges. Each multiple cutting edge or each cutting edge is known as teeth. Clear? So this is the center of the cutting tool. Now this cutting tool rotates with certain RPM, rotational speed, and this cutting tool is rotating and the workpiece is fed passing through this rotating tool. This is, let's say for example, this is the workpiece and it is either moving in this direction or in this direction, depend upon the process required. You will see in a while that depending upon the rotation of cutting tool and the workpiece movement, we divide the milling operation into two types. So basically milling is a machining operation in which workpiece is fed past a rotating tool with multiple cutting edges, and this by passing this workpiece through a multiple cutting edges cutting tool, the extra work material is removed from the workpiece and the desired geometry can be obtained by using milling operation. Now axis of tool rotation is perpendicular to the feed direction. So what does it mean? That this is, for example, the axis of tool. Clear? Or this is the axis of tool rotation, and this is the workpiece rotation, movement, feed direction. Workpiece must either move in this direction or in this direction. So feed is in axis of rotation is, if I draw, let's say this is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is z-axis. If the cutting tool is like this, clear? Not like this. If the cutting tool is like this, clear, and this axis is in z direction, clear, it is moving, and the workpiece is moving in this direction. So you can see this is x direction and this is z direction, so they are perpendicular. So axis of tool rotation is perpendicular to the feed direction, and after the milling operation is performed, it produces a planar surface. It creates a plane surface, because if you see this simple part, workpiece, for example rectangular workpiece, and if you want to flat this surface, you can perform the milling operation. So basically one of the shape that is produced by milling operation is that it produces planar surface or flat surface. Other geometries are also possible either by cutter path or shape. So in previous lecture or in the start of this lecture, we discussed the generating and forming, and you know very well what is generating and what is forming. So generating is basically that type of process in which the shape of object is determined by the path of cutting tool. So in generating, actually the shape of the workpiece is due to the path of cutting tool. That depends on how the tool follow the path. So the path that is followed by the tool is actually describe the shape of the workpiece, while in forming, the shape of the workpiece is due to the shape of cutting tool, just like V-shape cutting tool. So if you are going to produce V-shaped threads, so you will definitely use V-shaped cutting tool. So in that case, the shape of cutting tool is imparted to the workpiece. So that type of operations is known as forming. So basically milling operation generally produce planar surface, but other geometries are also possible. You will see in next few slides that different geometries can be obtained by using milling operation, and that depend upon either by using cutter path, which is either generating or shape of the cutting tool, or forming operations. So owing to the variety of shape possibles and its high production rate, milling is one of the most versatile and widely used machining operation. So it is a versatile machining operation because of variation in shapes are possible, and it also give you a high production rate. That is why it's a most versatile and widely used machining operations. So this is how we define milling operation. Now in our previous lectures, where a single point cutting tool is used for removing the extra material. So in, let's say, in case of turning operation, for example, in turning operation, if you have a larger dia and you want to increase the diameter to a smaller diameter D throughout the length, let's say this is the length of the workpiece, so you will have to perform the turning operation, because in turning operation linear diameter rod is converted into smaller diameter rod with the help of cutting tool that moves parallel to the axis of rotation of workpiece. Clear? So in that turning operation, you might have noticed that cutting tool is a single point cutting tool, and that is continuously engaged, or this cutting point is continuously engaged with the workpiece, or continuously in contact with this working piece throughout the whole process. So that was a continuous cutting operation. While in milling, you can see in here in this diagram, you will also notice again in next slides, but let's say this is a cutting tool. So you can see there are different cutting edges. Clear? They are also known as teeth. Now you might see that there is a gap between two teeth where there is no cutting operation is performed. So that's why milling is also known as interrupted cutting operation, because the teeth of miller cutter enter and exit work during each revolution. So again you can see that if it rotates, so this teeth tries to this teeth removes the material from the workpiece. Similarly, this teeth goes on in forward direction, and this teeth will come and will remove the material. So in between the two teeth there is a gap where there is no cutting operation is performed. That is why milling operation is known as interrupted cutting operations. Cutting tools that are used for milling operations are known as miller cutters, and miller cutter has cutting edges, and they are known as teeth. And the machine which are used to perform the milling operation is known as milling machine. Now there are two basic type of milling operation. The first one is known as peripheral milling, and the second one is phase milling. So both diagrams has been shown over here. So this is for peripheral milling and this is for phase milling. Both operations are same, and end product of both operations will be the same, but there is a difference. What is the difference? So in peripheral milling, you know, if you look into this is the part and this is the feed, means that part is going in this direction, the part is moving in this direction, and the cutter is only rotating with a RPM of n. Clear? So this is cutter that has been shown. This is the axis of cutter, this is the axis of cutter. Clear? So let's say if this is y-axis, this is x-axis, for example, and this is z-axis. So the axis of cutter is in z direction, and it is moving or rotating with a rotational speed n, and the feed is in x direction. The workpiece is moving in x direction. So, and depth of cut is given over here. Clear? So we will define the peripheral milling is that type of milling in which the axis of the tool of the cutter, is parallel to the surface which is being machined. So this is the surface, this is the whole surface. So you can see that this surface and this axis both are parallel. So that type of operation, milling operation, is known as peripheral milling. While in this figure, this is the example of face milling. This is the same workpiece. Feed direction is in this direction. This is depth. This is cutter. This is rotational speed. Now you can see that the axis of rotation of cutter is in y direction, and that is perpendicular to this surface. Clear? This surface. So that type of milling operations in which the axis of rotation of cutter is perpendicular to the surface that is being machined, or which that is perpendicular to surface which you want to machine. So that type of operation is known as face milling. Clear? Any question?
No, sir.
So again I will repeat, in peripheral milling, the axis of rotation of cutter will be parallel to the surface that is being machined. So that type of milling operation is known as peripheral milling. And the second one is that type of milling operation in which the axis of rotation of cutter will be perpendicular to the surface being machined. So that type of operation is known as face milling. Again, both operation that is performed on the machine will yield you the same flat surface. Clear? So there is no difference in the part that is produced, but only difference is the axis of rotation and the surface orientation. So in peripheral, axis of rotation is parallel to the surface, while in face milling, axis of rotation is perpendicular to the surface. So we will again see in next slides, there are different type of peripheral milling and face milling. Both the types will give you the same shape, but the difference will be only the orientation of the rotational axis. So peripheral milling versus face milling. And peripheral milling is also known as plane milling. The cutter axis is parallel to the surface being machined, and the cutter edges on the outside periphery of cutter. So you can see that this axis is parallel to this surface, and the cutter edges are the outer edges. So these are the cutter edges. Clear? So these are the cutter edges, that is on the outer periphery of the cutter. In face milling, cutter axis is perpendicular to the surface being milled or machined, and in this, cutter edges on the both end and outside periphery of the cutter. So if you look at this, so the cutter edges will be on this periphery and also to the outsider. Why? Because the lower portion will remove the lower surface, and if this surface will in contact with the wall of this workpiece, so it will also remove the material. So in peripheral milling, cutting edges is just only on the outer periphery of the workpiece, while in face milling, the cutter edges at the edge as well as the outside periphery of the cutter. So we have different type of milling operation. We have different type of milling operation that are the subcategory or types of peripheral milling as well as face milling. So in peripheral milling, we have slab milling, we have slotting, we have side milling, we have straddle milling. While in face milling, we have conventional face milling, partial face milling, end milling, profile milling, pocket milling, and surface contour milling. We will see each one in detail. So let's start with, for example, if you have this workpiece, let's say this is the workpiece and this is, let's say, width of the workpiece, and let's say this is the miller cutter. For example, if I draw the miller cutter like this. So let's say this is the axis of miller cutter and it is rotating with rotational speed n. So in this example, if you look at this figure, so you can see that the width of the workpiece is less than the width of cutter, or you can say width of the cutter, width, let W is the width of cutter. W is used for width. So WC is width of cutter. That is greater than width of the workpiece or part. So in this case, if this workpiece passed through this rotating tool, so it will give you a flat surface. So that type of milling operation in which width of the cutter, you can see width of the cutter is greater than width of the workpiece. Again, this slab milling is type of peripheral milling, and you know that in peripheral milling the axis of the workpiece will be parallel to the surface being machined. So first of all you have to look whether this axis is parallel to this surface or not. If it is parallel, so then the second criteria is you have to check that whether width of cutter is greater than width of the workpiece. If yes, then this type of peripheral milling is known as slab milling. Clear? Second example is that for example, if this is the workpiece and if this is the cutter and this is axis. Now you can see this is the width of the workpiece and this is width of the cutter. So in this case, width of cutter is less than width of the part. Clear? So if you perform the milling operation, again the axis will be parallel to the surface being machined. So slotting is also a type of peripheral milling in which width of the cutter is less than the width of part, and if it perform operation on this workpiece, so it will give you the geometry like that. So it will create a slot in the workpiece. Clear? This is slot. So that type of milling is known as slot milling. Clear?
Yes, sir.
And side milling is that you are going to for example, this is the workpiece, clear, and this is the so you are going to or for example, if this is the workpiece and if this is the cutter, so again you are working on one side of the workpiece. So if this will give you the geometry, like after milling operation it will give you the shape like this. Clear? So this is also known as side milling. Again the axis is parallel to the surface being machined. Now straddle milling. Straddle milling is that you have a shaft, clear, that contain two cutters. For example, this is cutter and this is cutter. All these figures are coming in the next slide, but I want to have a clear understanding before going to that slide. And if you have the part like this, so after performing operation, both the sides will now cut at the same time. So you will get the object like that. So it is also side milling, but now both the sides are cutted simultaneously. Clear? So that type of operation is known as straddle milling. So again, if you now know about, or if you have a well understanding of what is slab milling, slotting, side milling, straddle milling, so definitely you will be easily pick these types, because these will also produce the same shape, but the name is changed because of the orientation of the cutting tool. In all above example, you have seen that, sorry, not this one, up till this is not this. In all these four examples, slab milling, slotting, side milling, straddle milling, you have seen that axis of rotation of cutter is parallel to the surface being machined. So we will see again. If you haven't any question about that, so definitely you will easily pick these examples as well. So now slab milling. So you can see that in slab milling, width of the cutter is greater than width of the, this is, let's say, width of workpiece, and this is the width of the cutter. So you can see width of the cutter is greater than width of the part. So basic form of peripheral milling, in which width of cutter, in which the cutter width exceed beyond the workpiece on both sides. So after performing this slab milling operation, you will get a flat surface of the workpiece. So this is the example of peripheral milling. slotting. So now you can see that width of the cutter is less than width of the workpiece. So after performing the operation, you will get this workpiece having slot in it. So that type of peripheral milling is known as slotting. Side milling. So you can see this is a shaft having a miller cutter at one end and it is rotating with certain RPM. So after performing milling operation, your geometry will be like the shown in the red by showing red line. Clear? So this is going to remove the material from one of the side of the workpiece, and also the axis of rotation is parallel to the surface which is being machined. So that type is known as side milling. Now straddle milling. So you can see this is again a side milling operation, but now this shaft contain two miller cutter at the two edges or the two end. So if you pass this workpiece through this rotating cutting tool, so you will get the workpiece like shown in red by showing red lines. Here. So this is type of straddle milling. If you have any question, you can ask now about the type of peripheral milling. Any question?
No, sir.
Okay. So I am going to move toward the face milling. So the first type of face milling was conventional face milling. So it is actually the same. You can see the width of the cutter exceeds than the width of the workpiece. But now you can see that the axis of rotation of the cutter is perpendicular to the surface. Clear? So from this axis of rotation of cutter perpendicular to the surface, we can say that it is type of face milling. But which type of face milling? So width of the cutter exceeds than the width of the workpiece. So that type of cutter is that type of face milling is known as conventional face milling, and again it also produces a flat surface. So basically slab and face milling both are producing flat surfaces, and slab is the example of peripheral milling while conventional face milling example of face milling. Okay, so we will explain it a little bit later. Clear? So first I should explain the type of face milling. So this was a conventional milling. Now the second example was in peripheral milling is slot milling. Clear? So here it is known as end milling. So you can see the axis of rotation of cutter is perpendicular to this surface. Clear? And the width of cutter is less than width of the work part. Clear? So it will produce the part like this, having a slot in that. Clear? So this example of face milling in which width of the cutter or cutter diameter is less than the work width, so it creates a slot into the part. So that type of face milling is known as end milling, while in peripheral milling the process was known as slotting. Clear? The third example in peripheral milling was side milling. So in that it is known as partial face milling, because it is going to remove the material partially from one of the side of the workpiece, and you again the axis of rotation of cutter is perpendicular to the surface. So in peripheral milling it was known as side milling, while in face milling it is known as partial face milling. The fourth type is known as profile milling. Now in profile milling what happened is that the shape of the workpiece is actually determined by the feed path or trajectory of the cutting tool. So if let's say cutting tool moves in this direction, so definitely the last part will be of the same shape. So if tool follow this path, so definitely shape of the workpiece will be like that. So form of the end milling in which the outside periphery of a flat part is cut. So this is the profile and the workpiece is moving against this profile, and again a flat surface is produced, and the same profile is achieved with the flat surfaces. Pocket milling. So pocket milling is again a form of end milling that is used to mill shallow pockets into a flat part. For example, you have this part, this solid rectangular plate that is totally solid. And if you want to create a pocket or like this as shown, so definitely you will use end milling, and you will have to move the cutting tool in this direction again and again and again and so on until a required pocket is produced in the surface. So that type of milling operation is known as pocket milling, and pocket milling is again the type of face milling in which the axis of cutting tool is perpendicular to the surface. Surface contouring machine. In surface contouring machine, you can see from this figure that this is a miller cutter, and this have ball nose cutter rather than square end cutter. So you can see this is the ball nose cutter. So there is a ball or ball like shape cutter. So it is used for producing surfaces. Clear? So that's why ball nose cutter is used rather than a square, and is feed back and forth across the work along a curvilinear path at a close interval to create a three-dimensional surface form. So basically, in order to produce this surface, it is very difficult to get the surface like that. But we can achieve it by using a milling operation. Clear? So whenever you need any contour surface or you want to produce surface, so you will use surface contour. So you will produce the surface, and this process is known as surface contouring. But again, manually to get this surface or manually to achieve this surface, it is very difficult. And again, because if this totally depends on the coordinate system, so manually you cannot control the coordinate. But if you have CNC machines or CNC milling machines, so again in that you have to give G codes and M codes, or generally G codes. So you define X is this much, Y is this much, and Z is this much. So machine follows the instruction or follows the instruction that is given by the programmer. So again it will read these coordinates, and tool will move in the direction which is given by the programmer in the program. Clear? So tool will definitely follow this coordinate system, so you can achieve this surface. So this was all about the type of face milling. So I will generally conclude we have two type of milling. That first one is peripheral milling. The second one is face milling. In peripheral milling, we have slab, we have slot, we have side, we have straddle milling. In face milling, we have conventional face milling, which is producing similar part as that of slab. Then we have end milling, which is giving you a slot. So both producing the same parts. Then we know partial end milling. Clear? Which is also producing same parts as that of side milling. And then we have pocket milling, which is used to produce pocket in any surface. And then we have last one, we have surface contouring. All these are the parts of what you can say are types of milling operation, and these milling types of basic two type of milling operations, that is peripheral milling and face milling. These are the division of milling operation basis on the axis of rotation of shaft, and the workpiece surface. Orientation of axis of rotating tool and the workpiece surface. So we have peripheral milling and we have face milling. Any question?
No, sir.
Okay. Then we will move toward milling operations. There are two type of milling operation. Based on the rotation of cut. Based on the rotation of cutter and workpiece feed of workpiece. We have two type of milling operation. Again, I will repeat that on the basis of rotation of cutter and feed of the workpiece, we have two type of milling operation. The first one is up milling or conventional milling, and the second one is down milling or climb milling. So you can see in up milling the rotation of cutter. This is the rotation of cutter, and this is the workpiece feed. So workpiece is moving in this direction and cutter is rotating in opposite direction. So both are opposite. Clear? But the cutter is trying to climb over the workpiece. So that's why it is known as up milling. Simple is that when the rotation of cutter is opposite to the feed direction of the work part, the type of milling operation is known as conventional milling. Clear? Or up milling. When the rotation of cutter, here in this example, when the rotation of cutter is parallel or in the same direction, you can see this is the rotation of cutter and this is the feed direction of the workpiece. Both are in the same direction. Clear? So that type of milling operation is known as down milling, or it is known as climb milling. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And one more thing, that this up milling and down milling are the example of peripheral milling. Clear? But again, these are the peripheral milling, and based on the rotation of cutter, based on the direction of rotation of cutter and the direction of motion of or direction of feed of the workpiece, we divide the peripheral milling into up milling and the second one is down milling. Up milling is known as conventional milling, while down milling is known as climb milling, because it is climbing. Clear? Okay. Can anybody explain which of the two operation will yield a good surface finish? Can anybody answer? Down milling. Any other person or any other student? Hurry up. Okay, let me check who is joining. Okay, wait. Discard. Someone wants to join this call. Okay, leave him. Okay, these are the two types, up milling and down milling. So I will explain it that the milling operation or the type of peripheral milling operation is down milling operation, which will give you a better surface finish and it will work well as compared to the up milling. Why?
सर ये थोड़ी सी जगह को वो कट करता है.
Okay, The first disadvantage of up milling is that you can see the direction of rotation of cutter is this, while workpiece is in this direction. So both directions are opposite. So definitely the workpiece will exert a force, larger force on this workpiece, and it will tend to lift this workpiece in this direction. Clear? So it will tend to lift this workpiece. So definitely higher forces for clamping the workpiece is required in up milling. So this is the first disadvantage. Second is that when this cutting tool will be in contact with the workpiece, so initial thickness of the chip will be smaller and it will be increasing at the end. So in this type of peripheral milling, which is up milling, the initial thickness of chip is small, but it will tend to increase. So length of the chip will be large. So what does it mean? It means that workpiece is engaged more with the workpiece. So if kindly turn off your mic. If this cutting tool is engaged more with the workpiece, so definitely there will be a large forces in this up milling. So the life of cutting tool will be affected. So again in this you can see also the length of the chip is increased, so more time for the engagement of the cutting tool with the workpiece, so cutting tool life will be affected. Now in this milling operation, which is down milling operation, you can see that both directions are in the same. So it is going to suppress, it is going to push this workpiece. So there will be a lesser force required as compared to the up milling. Second thing is that when this cutting tool enters into the workpiece, so the thickness of chip is large and it is going to decrease at this point. So you can see chip thickness is start at the start and less at the end, and the chip length is also less. So means that cutting tool is engaged less as compared to the up milling. So the tool life of the miller cutter for down milling will be larger as compared to the tool life of the miller cutter that is used in up milling operation. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if something is left, you can check it in the book or in the topic of type of peripheral milling on the basis of direction of rotation of cutter and the feed direction of the workpiece. And later you can ask me as well. Now you can see this is the miller cutter. This is a view of the miller cutter, and this is the axis, and this is the place for insertion of the shaft on which this miller cutter will rotate, and there is a keyway sorry, this is the keyway in which this rectangular key will be inserted, so that both the miller cutter and shaft should lock and do not slip. These are the edges of these are the cutting edges. Clear? And if you look that this is the cutting edges and this is another edge. So if there is if you look at this point, if you draw a vertical line at this point and if you draw a line again this point, so this angle, the angle between these two will be known as relief angle, and this face and this vertical line are the line that is drawn from the cutting edges. They make an angle which is known as clearance angle. And again, from the previous lecture or previous slide, you can see that rotational speed is equal to V over pi d. Clear? So n is rotational speed having unit revolution per minute or per second or per hour, depend. So V is cutting speed having unit meter per second or millimeter per second or meter per minute or meter per hour, etc. And MRR is rate of material removal or material removal rate. That is WDFR. W is width, D is the thickness or depth of cut, and FR is feed rate. So this is the formula for finding the material removal rate. Again, milling machine. So we have different type of milling machine for performing the milling operation. So milling machine must provide a rotating spindle for the cutter and a table for fastening, positioning, and the feeding of the work pass. So you can see that in milling machine there should be a spindle that is used to only rotate the miller cutter on that shaft. Clear? And there should be a table which is used for fastening of the workpiece, for positioning as well as feeding the work parts. So workpiece is feeded over the rotating cutting tool. So we have knee and column milling machine, that is universal milling machine, ram milling machine, bed type milling machine, planer type, tracer, and CNC milling. So you can see knee and column milling machine. So basically this is the column portion and this is the knee. Clear? So knee and column milling machine, there is an overarm and over spindle will be this one. So in order to support the spindle, so this is the overarm, this is overhanging arm, we can say, or overarm, and below this there is a yoke. Clear? This shaft is known as arbor. Clear? This here it is spindle. In spindle we have arbor shaft, and the arbor shaft rotates due to the spindle rotation. Now what is the purpose of arbor? Arbor is used to support the cutting tool, because the cutting tool will be mounted on this arbor. So this is cutting tool, or that is known as miller cutter. Clear? This on the knee there is a saddle, and above the saddle there is a work table, and this work table moves in this direction. It will take feed in this direction, and this table also move in this direction, and this table also move in Z direction. So basically the table moves in along vertical direction. Here vertical direction is represented as Z. It can move cross as well in Y direction, that is also mentioned over here, and along X direction. So the table can move in 3 directions and the spindle only just rotate. So this type of milling operation, this type of machine is known as knee and column milling machine. Okay, can anyone tell me which type of milling operation will it perform? Peripheral or face?
Sir, peripheral.
Peripheral. So this type of machine can be used for peripheral, because you can see that direction of rotation of cutter is parallel to this table, or let's say if it has a workpiece. So this type of machines is only suitable for peripheral milling operations. Okay, now here you can see it is suitable for face milling, because the axis of rotation of cutter is perpendicular to this surface. Again, this is column, this is knee. This is also a vertical knee and column milling machine, and it is suitable for face milling. And the rest of the things are same. Ram adjustment. Ram type knee and column machine. Ram can be adjusted in and out, and tooth head can be swelled. So in this example, it is also a knee and column milling machine. But you can see now this ram can be adjusted toward this or this. For example, if you need to mill the part over here, so definitely you can move the ram in this direction to this point. And if you need the operation to perform over here, so you can move it toward back position. So again, RAM can be adjusted in this direction as well as in this direction. Also, the head can be swirled. It means that head can be rotated. It can be rotated like this or this. So means that cutting tool or the miller cutter can be at certain angle. So this type of machine is known as ram type knee and column milling machine. This is universal milling machine. So you can see this is the rotatory table. There is a work table. It can move in X direction. It can move in Y direction. It can be move in Z direction. This is the spindle, and on this spindle we can have miller cutter having different cutting edges. So you can also use it for the milling operations. So this is for again, this is a simplex bed type milling operation. So you can see that if you have a rectangular part or any part that is mounted on this table, so that is used to create a flat edge surfaces of the workpiece. So only those surfaces which will be in front of this miller cutter will be flat after the milling operation. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, additional milling machines are a computerized numerical control machine or milling machine that is known as CNC machines, and these are the most versatile machines, the courtesy of Bridgeport Machine Division, Textron Incorporation. So this is the machine from this company. So this was the computerized numerical control machine. So you can see that the table can be moved in this direction, as well as here is a column in which cutting tool can move upward. It can be swelled at certain angle, and it can also move in this direction. So there are more degree of freedom in CNC machines. So again, most of you people are not aware that what are CNC machines. So CNC is computerized numerical control. So for that we need G codes, we need programming, G codes and M codes. So again, G codes are geometric codes and M codes are miscellaneous codes. All that codes that defines the geometry are geometrical codes. Means, for example, if you give a code x100, so means you are directing the tool to move in x direction and cover 100 distance. Similarly, x, y, 50, z minus 50. So these are the geometric codes. Or N001 instruction command. So you are going to instruct the machine. Similarly, we have codes that is used for to start spindle to rotate, to stop the spindle, to put fluid, or what we use the term for coolant, to on the coolant or off the coolant. For that we have M code, which is known as miscellaneous code. And you have CNC machine. You will cover this CNC in your 7th semester in the course of Production Automation and Production Automation Lab, where you will learn how to program for a part that is produced by computerized numerical control. One of the method is, I will simply explain that if you have a part, so for that you must have command on CNC programming. So you have to define program. You have to define for a program for producing that part. This is one of the method. The second thing is that if you are expert in CAD modeling, so you can produce that part in the CAD softwares or just like Creo, Pro-E, SolidWorks, CATIA, etc. And then after producing part, you can also produce G codes and M codes in its CNC module. Clear? So after getting G codes and M code, you can insert that program into the CNC machine that is either linked with the computer or through USB, and you can run that program, and after running that program the machine will give you the same part. Clear? So this is the second method. And in this type of method, if you are weak in programming, so you can easily generate the G code and M code with the help of software. But again, you must have sufficient knowledge about that module of CNC programming in the CAD softwares. So machining centers, these are the highly automated machine tools capable of performing multiple machining operation under CNC control in one setup with minimum human attentions. Typical operations are milling and drilling, 3, 4 or 5 axis. So we may have 3 axis milling machine, 4 axis or 5 axis. That depend upon the complexity of the milling machines. Other features are automated tool changing. We may have such type of milling machine in which the tools can be changed automatically, depend upon the operation that are depend upon the programming that you have generated for the parts. So pallet shuttles, we have automatic work part positioning. All these are available in the latest milling machines. So this is a picture of universal milling machines or milling center. This is also a 4-axis turning center, mill turn center. So highly automated machine that can perform turning, milling and drilling operation on the work parts, and generally configuration of a turning center. Clear? You might aware of these words: turning, milling, drilling, etc. So it can position a cylindrical work part at a specified angle, so a rotating cutting tool can machine feature into the outside surface of the parts, so it perform the milling operation. A conventional turning center cannot stop work part at a defined angular position and does not possess rotating tool spindle. So in this we do not have a rotating cutting tool spindle. So the only workpiece that is rotating is the workpiece in the spindle, and the cutting tool do not rotate. So this is operation that is performed by using mill turn. For example, turning operation is performed then by using miller cutter. This cylindrical surface is converted into the flat. Only this surface will be flat. Then you can perform a drilling operation on that, and then you can also perform a cut off operation by using cut off tool. So you can see that this is the final part. This surface will be flat and it will have a hole. So all these operations, this is the final part. So all these operations are performed by using mill turn that can perform turning, milling, drilling and cutting operations. So this was all about today lecture about the milling operations. Thank you.